For decades, we've viewed space exploration as a finished chapter, a quiet legacy left behind by the Apollo missions. But according to NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, that perception is outdated. The United States is currently engaged in a highly accelerated space race. The primary competitor is China. They are advancing rapidly, with the specific goal of landing crews of taikonauts on the lunar surface to establish a permanent presence. This timeline shows how tight the window is. China targets a landing by 2030. To maintain its lead, the US is pushing for late 2028. As Isaacman warns, the margin for error is no longer years, it's measured in months. This deadline matters because the first nation to return will ultimately set the operational standards for the moon. By securing the 2028 window, NASA ensures it is American infrastructure that defines the first enduring lunar base and the future economy that grows around it. To meet this aggressive deadline, NASA is moving away from the slow, high-cost development cycles of the past. Building every component in-house simply takes too much time. Instead, the agency is integrating itself into the private launch market, leveraging a network of commercial providers to execute missions with much higher frequency. A clear example of this approach is the current rescue attempt for the Swift telescope. This scientific instrument is losing altitude, and without intervention will eventually fall into the Earth's atmosphere. This chart compares the traditional solution with the new model. Historically, NASA would spend billions to build a replacement. This experimental mission aims to dock with and boost the telescope for just $30 million. If successful, the Swift mission suggests NASA can maintain its most expensive orbital assets through low-cost private contracts, rather than waiting years for multi-billion-dollar replacements. This strategy reaches its peak with Artemis 3, a mission that requires 3 of the world's most powerful rockets to work in perfect synchronization. The plan relies on massive private hardware, specifically SpaceX's Starship and Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. But relying on rapid private development means accepting public failure. Just recently, a New Glenn rocket engine suffered a major anomaly and exploded during testing. NASA's response was to double down. Leadership went on site to work with Jeff Bezos and his team, helping to investigate the engine and rebuild the launch pad immediately. This mirrors the early 1960s, where frequent failures were treated as a necessary part of the learning process. In a race where months decide the winner, helping private partners recover from explosions is the only way to keep the 2028 landing on schedule. To prepare for the astronauts, NASA is moving to a near-monthly launch cadence by 2027, prepositioning essential supplies and hardware on the lunar surface. By the time the Artemis 4 crew lands in 2028, they will have access to a lunar terrain vehicle and the foundations of a working base. By the early 2030s, the moon will function like the International Space Station, a permanent laboratory providing deep space survival skills needed to reach Mars. This permanent presence also unlocks the potential for a lunar economy, including the ability to mine asteroids for resources that are currently unreachable. The sprint to beat China to the 2028 deadline is the first step towards establishing a permanent human foothold beyond Earth. By securing the moon now, we build the foundation needed to reach Mars and the rest of the solar system.